Welcome to Healthy Living. I'm Lori Johnson. My guest today is a favorite of yours and mine, Dr. Josh Axe, the founder of the #1 natural health website, draxe.com. He's written many books we've featured here on Healthy Living about topics such as essential oils, collagen, and the ketogenic diet. Today, we're talking to him about his brand new book about the health practice of going completely without food for certain periods of time. It's called Essential Fasting, 12 Benefits of Intermittent Fasting and Other Fasting Plans for Accelerating Weight Loss, Crushing Cravings, and Reversing Aging. Welcome, Dr. Axe. Great to see you again, and thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me, Lori.
Well, before we get into this, can you just clear up something? You know, a lot of people completely shut down at the mention of the word fast because they think it's way too hard. So can you speak to people who are convinced they could never fast because they think it would just make them miserable?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing to remember is that fasting is incredible in terms of the health benefits that start to happen in your body. So I think that's what you have to focus on. So fasting can be hard, going without food. So I'm not going to deny that. Here's the thing, though. We know that millions of people have fasted over the years. And if millions of people have done it, if our biblical ancestors have done it, Jesus throughout the Bible and the prophets talk about the benefits of fasting. So we know that in many cases, we are called to fast, and there are amazing health benefits. There's amazing benefits spiritually that start to happen when we fast. But again, fasting doesn't have to be hard. And here's the thing to remember. There are different types of fast. There are fasts where you don't eat for several days, and in some cases don't drink water. But there's also something called intermittent fasting, or doing a Daniel fast, where you are still getting some food. You're just eating in certain time windows or restricting certain foods out of your diet. So if you fast the way that I teach in my new book, Essential Fasting, then you're going to see that fasting can be easier than you've ever thought possible. Also, you can reap the physical benefits and the spiritual benefits as well.
So basically, anybody can do it, right?
Absolutely. Anybody can do it. In fact, my wife Chelsea and I oftentimes will fast on Mondays, and we'll do different types of fast. But I believe everybody can benefit and everybody can fast.
Find what's right for you. So before we get into the many, many health benefits of fasting, can you tell us exactly what you mean when you talk about intermittent fasting? I mean, as you mentioned, there are like lots of ways to fast, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're talking about fasting, when we're talking about intermittent, it's really called time restricted fasting. So for instance, what you typically do will skip breakfast, and then you might still eat lunch and dinner. So rather than eating in a typical 16-hour window where you're eating from when you wake up to when you go to bed, you take time, and maybe you only eat in a 6 to 8 hour window. So maybe your first meal is at noon, you have a snack at 3 o'clock, and you eat dinner at 6. So really you're just eating in a 6 to 8 hour window and taking the rest of that time where you're not eating food during that time. And so again, you're still eating during the day, you're just not eating in terms of a long block of time. And there actually are some amazing health benefits for doing just intermittent fasting as I'm describing.
Well, let's talk about the health benefits of fasting. #1, weight loss. How does that happen?
So what happens, obviously, when you restrict food, your body has a greater chance to heal and regenerate and reset itself. When your body is working all the time, it's not able to heal during that time period. Your body is expending all of its energy, breaking down food or doing something. Now, when you stop eating during certain time windows, your body goes through a process to where called autophagy, where it actually starts to regenerate new and healthy tissue. Your body uses that energy it might have used for digestion and uses it to repair your liver, to create new and healthy cells, to fight different types of diseases. And so that's really what happens. So when it comes to weight loss, your body actually will start getting sometimes even into a state of ketosis if you do this for multiple days in a row, where your body will start to burn fat for energy because you're not eating during that time period. So your body will really lose weight because this helps reset your metabolism, and also it helps you in getting your body into more of a fat burning zone.
I love this part. Talk about how fasting can improve your brain function, and not just the way you can think more clearly, but also the way fasting improves your mood.
Yeah, so as we're saying here, when I'm talking about fasting, the benefits for the brain, your body will start to, again, break down fat and get into sometimes a state of ketosis and use that for energy. The other thing is your body has to send a lot of energy and blood flow when you're digesting food. Now, when your body is free of food and it's not expending any energy digesting, your body is able to send more blood flow and more oxygen to the brain, which is going to allow you to think more clearly. It's going to start to reduce inflammation in your brain. So again, you're going to notice you have better focus.
Well said. Well, we know that insulin resistance is a terrible problem these days. It's a hallmark of type 2 diabetes, which is a risk factor for complications from COVID-19 and is dangerous in so many other ways. And like you were talking about a moment ago, neurologists even tell us insulin resistance can occur in our brain, possibly contributing to Alzheimer's disease. So talk about how fasting combats insulin resistance.
Yeah, insulin resistance, as you're mentioning, Lori, is connected to so many diseases today. In fact, number one, diabetes. If you have diabetes, it's an insulin issue. Number two, Alzheimer's. In fact, originally, Alzheimer's was referred to as type 3 diabetes because of how it affects or how it's related to our blood sugar levels and insulin, and also most hormonal conditions, infertility, PCOS, known as polycystic ovary syndrome, and a lot of hormone-based conditions, especially in women, are related to insulin resistance. Now, insulin is a hormone. What happens when you restrict eating is your body starts to balance out and produce different levels of hormones. In fact, when you are fasting, your body has higher levels of human growth hormone, which actually causes you to age more slowly, allows your brain to function at a higher level, but also human growth hormone keeps that insulin better balanced. And so insulin is balanced when you're not eating versus when you're eating excess amounts, especially of carbohydrates and sugar. What happens is insulin can spike up. And what that does is that then is going to throw off your cortisol levels and cause other stress hormones to increase, which will actually cause you to age faster. So one of the greatest things you can do if somebody wants to reverse and heal diabetes, if somebody wants to start to see improvements in the function of their brain and in fighting conditions like Alzheimer's, and also balancing hormones and fighting conditions like PCOS and infertility and other hormone-based conditions, intermittent fasting or any type of fasting can create tremendous health benefits when we're talking about those specific conditions. Also, partly because your body starts to burn fat for energy, loads and loads of benefits hormonally, brain function-wise, insulin-wise, if you are fasting.
Well, this is fascinating information. We're going to take a quick break and be right back with Dr. Josh Axe to talk more about the benefits of fasting. The book is Essential Fasting. Stay with us.
I am Regent's first ROTC graduate student.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm Ephraim Graham. Welcome to Studio 5.
Get on it.
All that's new and now in the world of uplifting entertainment with celebrity interviews.
There's a higher contribution I will make.
Musical performances.
I'll give you my best praise.
Plus movie and TV news.
See it and be uplifted.
On Studio 5. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern at cbn.com/Studio 5.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, You can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
Welcome back. We're talking with Dr. Josh Axe about his new book called Essential Fasting, the 12 Benefits of Fasting. And Josh, you know, when we talk about inflammation, which you mentioned a moment ago, we know that people with inflammation can have a particularly difficult time battling COVID-19. And doctors tell us inflammation is the root cause of so many diseases, like our #1 killer, heart disease. How does fasting lower dangerous inflammation?
Yeah, so fasting is so key, and if we're talking about fighting inflammation disease. First, let me start off talking about what inflammation is and why we have to reduce it. So inflammation occurs when your body starts to, it's really a healing response by your body, but what can happen if you have excess inflammation is your body is sort of breaking down tissues, trying to rebuild it, but that continual breakdown or damaging of an area will lead to diseased tissue over time and weakened tissue or weakened organ function. You know, anything with an itis at the end, itis in Latin, means inflammation. So arthritis, that's inflammation of your joints. Ulcerative colitis, that's inflammation of your colon. But most diseases today have been linked to inflammation. In fact, did you know heart disease is not caused by high cholesterol? Heart disease, the root cause of it is inflammation in your arteries, which leads to your body producing cholesterol. So if you want to reverse heart disease, you don't want to fight cholesterol, you want to fight inflammation. And so even cancer today, diabetes, all of these conditions I'm mentioning, immune system dysfunction, if we're talking about autoimmune disease, or if your body is weakened and not able to fight viruses, you know, all of these conditions can be related to and are related to inflammation in the body. In fact, you mentioned COVID-19. You know, one of the things we're seeing is that 94% of people that have passed away from COVID have had other conditions along with COVID-19. And so again, one of the things that we know, it's called comorbidity. And so we know it is so critical that we are all reducing inflammation. And here's the key to fighting inflammation: fasting. You know, when your body is fasting, your body is not expending energy in other places. And so now what it's doing, it's saying, okay, I'm going to start repairing and healing the gut lining, which is where 70% of the immune system lives, is in your gut. So your body can now regenerate, create new and healthy tissue. Your body can expend that energy, creating immune cells to fight off foreign invaders. And really, again, it really puts your body in a position when you're fasting to where your body can now heal itself and regenerate itself. And so that's really what starts to happen as we talk about intermittent fasting, is now your body is actually able to heal itself, which is why it's so effective. So again, and the thing I want to say again, Lori, is a lot of times when people hear fasting, they think, okay, that means I can't eat for days and days and days. It doesn't mean that. In fact, in my new book, Essential Fasting, I start talking about there are easy ways to fast. Even if you just say, okay, I'm going to skip breakfast and I'm going to eat certain types of foods starting around noon or 1 o'clock, maybe a snack in the middle, and at 6, really you can skip one meal and eat in about a 6 to 8 hour window and still see massive benefits from fasting. And I cover this in my book. One of the important things, though, when you're fasting is that you're eating the right type of foods. You want to make sure you're eating loads and loads of vegetables, both cooked and maybe some raw. Also, certain types of fruits, certain type of foods like pumpkin and squashes are actually very good during fasting, but loads of vegetables, some fruit, getting some healthy fats, and then getting some collagen and bone broth, like chicken broth. Those are the foods you want to consume during a fast, and the benefits are absolutely tremendous. Also, there's benefits of doing things like Daniel fast, but again, we cover all of this in the new book. But you're right, Lori, in saying fasting can absolutely benefit our immune system in a big way.
You know, it's so sad to hear about people struggling with addiction, particularly during this pandemic. Experts tell us alcohol consumption and the opioid epidemic are on the rise, and certainly people have become addicted to sugar and other unhealthy foods. How can fasting help break some of these intense cravings for substances that seem to control us, Josh?
We know, Lori, man, that's such a good question, because what our body really acts and functions based on what we call neurological patterns. In fact, sometimes are you ever in a situation where you're like, man, I did something, but I didn't want to do it. You know, like maybe you're struggling with, like, you're overreacting to things, or you're being mean to somebody, or something like that happens, and you might say, I didn't want to do that. Sometimes we are programmed neurologically, and the Bible talks about in Romans 12:2, renew your mind. That's what we have to do. We have to start renew our mind. The same thing works for your diet or patterns you get into. Our body tends to have addictions, like sugar addictions. And this happens, signals happen hormonally. We just talked about this, Lori, with insulin resistance. What happens is your body starts getting these cravings. Your body starts producing hormones like leptin, ghrelin, and insulin, and your body starts to say, you need to eat right now. If you can get through that for a period of time fasting and rely on, maybe you're spending time with God instead, you know, ideally, or time in prayer or reading his word, what starts to happen is you break through that first time, and then you break through another and another, and eventually your body says, okay, hey, I made it without food, I'm going to be okay. And then those signals get weaker and weaker and weaker over time, and then over time you need to find a way to replace that food craving with something else. Replace it with the word of God, replace it with praise and worship music, or replace it with a healthier food, maybe it's, or a liquid, like if you're used to drinking soda or getting sugar all day, hey, instead drink water, or maybe drink some chicken broth, or drink a healthy herbal tea. Do something like that instead. But what starts to happen, again, our body gets in these neurological patterns, but fasting is one of the greatest ways to break addictions and to create breakthrough in your life. And so if you're struggling with an addiction to sugar, if you're struggling with an addiction to carbohydrates and food, or any other type of addiction, maybe, again, you know, an addiction to something that's really spiritually unhealthy or relationally unhealthy, again, fasting from food or certain foods can actually help you break through some of those other addictions as well, especially when you do that in combination with putting your faith in Jesus and the Word of God.
Amen. Excellent advice. Certainly worth trying. We're going to take a quick break and be right back with Dr. Josh Axe. The book is called Essential Fasting. Stay with us.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
Nigerian Christians in
Iran are routinely arrested.
Nepali Christians continue to suffer.
In times of trial and affliction, you need to know the truth.
One of the fastest growing Christian populations in the world.
Join Wendy Griffith and George Thomas for Christian World News.
Young people are the ones who are open to the gospel.
Powerful stories of suffering and hope that affect all Christians. Watch Christian World News, Saturday at 5 p.m.
Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, You wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
We're back with Dr. Josh Axe, and the book is called Essential Fasting. You know, Josh, I just loved it when we talked to you about collagen, and I take your collagen powder every day because one of its benefits is it fights the appearance of aging. So talk about how fasting also can slow down the aging process.
Yeah, so what happens with fasting is your body starts to go through this process. It's called autophagy, where your body starts breaking down unhealthy cells and creating new healthy cells. And your body actually produces some collagen on its own. So you look younger, you feel younger, your body actually is younger. So if you have, joint pain, if you're starting to get lines and crinkles, like getting wrinkles in your eyes, crow's feet, any of those types of things, fasting will make you younger, both in appearance and actually your body will be younger overall, all in your real age in terms of how old your body really is. So all that being said, I think it's so important to know that fasting absolutely helps you age slower, especially when you do it in combination with eating things like berries and vegetables and getting collagen in your diet. Those things all help. But again, it is great because it allows your body to create new and healthy tissues, including collagen.
We probably should have led with that because I know so many of the audience members are like, whoa, anti-aging. I like the sound of that. And you talk about this thing called autophagy. You've mentioned that more than once. And it seems like it's a blessing from God that when we go for long periods of time without food, our bodies just naturally regenerate. Can you talk a little bit more about just the wonderful process called autophagy and how you achieve it?
Yeah, autophagy is where you have cells in your body that will actually go and gobble up unhealthy proteins that cause inflammation, which then breaks down more tissue, which then causes you to age more quickly. So what happens when you fast is your body says, okay, because I'm not having to work digesting, I'm not having to work balancing insulin, I am going to simply heal myself. And so what really happens is, here's a principle. Hippocrates said this many years ago. He said the body heals itself. So food doesn't heal you. Like turmeric doesn't heal you, vegetables, beef, none of these things heal you. Your body heals itself. And so what happens when you are fasting, you put your body in a state where it actually is better able to heal itself than any other time. And that's why, even as I cover in my book, these really secret ways of fasting that Jesus talks about in the Bible and that have been proven now with science, is that there are specific ways to fast. And it's not even all day. You can still eat 3 meals a day. It's about eating those meals later on in the day or at different times. And when you do that, your body gets in a state where it starts to regenerate and heal itself. And it's one of the most powerful forms of medicine on the planet.
All right, we're going to take one last break and be right back with Dr. Josh Axe. The book is called Essential Fasting. Stay tuned.
On October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Just moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
Administering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
A 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place. Go to CBNNewsChannel.com to find out how to get the CBN News Channel on your TV all day, every day. CBN News. Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
We're back now with Dr. Josh Axe talking about the many health benefits of fasting, and his new book is called Essential Fasting, Josh. And again, you know, it's not that scary. I know I've been doing intermittent fasting every day, and at first it was very intimidating, but it's actually really easy. And it reminds me of my childhood, for example, because I remember growing up, we never ate after 6 p.m. I don't know, somewhere during the 80s or 90s or something, we just felt like we started to eat the moment we wake up until all the way until we fall asleep. But it's really kind of old school to go back to eating just a short period of time every day.
It really is. It's what our ancient ancestors did. It's the ancient way of eating, as myself and my co-author Jordan Rubin talk about in the book. And so, yeah, as you're saying, Lori, I think it's important to understand, again, fasting doesn't mean you're not eating for a week straight or 40 days. Fasting is simply you're taking periods of time where you're not eating. And so what you're essentially doing is you're skipping breakfast and you're going to not snack all through the night. What happens when you wake up first thing in the morning and you start eating and you eat throughout the day and you even maybe have a snack before bed or get up at night and eat, your body then has to literally kind of in a way shut down its ability to heal. It's not going to be able to heal at the same level. And so what happens is your body now doesn't fully recover. It doesn't fully heal. Your body doesn't sleep as well at night as well because your body's trying to get into a deep sleep and it's still having to process and digest food versus as we talk about doing these ancient forms of fasting where maybe you're missing breakfast, you could still have a little bit of coffee, maybe have a little bit of liquid tea, that sort of thing. But then your first meal's lunch, you have a snack around 3, eat dinner at 6, you're eating in more of a 7-hour window. When you eat in that number 7, that 7-hour window, and that's the only time you eat, now you're giving your body 17 hours to heal and regenerate itself versus maybe only 8 hours. So again, that's the real key here is your body now has around 17 hours to heal. And we get into this in the book. We have meal plans. We have recommendations here for how to do this. We've had people read the book and say, wow, they cannot believe the spiritual breakthrough they saw as well by reading the book. And that's the thing. One, you're going to get healthier if you do this form of fasting, your digestion, your hormones, your weight loss. But also, we really believe, as the Bible says, you can experience immense spiritual breakthroughs and life breakthroughs when you're fasting the right way.
Well, I can say as a personal testimonial, I have definitely found that to be the case, and I'm very grateful for this new book. Once again, the book is called Essential Fasting, 12 Benefits of Intermittent Fasting and Other Fasting Plans for Accelerating Weight Loss, Crushing Cravings, and Reversing Aging. Our thanks to Dr. Josh Axe. His website is draxe.com. Dr. Axe, thanks for being here. Great to see you again.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Lori.
And thanks to you for tuning into our program. I'm Lori Johnson. Hope to see you again for the next edition of Healthy Living. Have a great day, everyone.